So Riv has got an interview with Immortals top laner.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. I am joined by Huni, the man in the top lane after their win over Liquid. Huni, I have to ask you, you had some words about Lorlo as you came into the game. He is a good top laner, maybe a one-trick Aurelia, but you guys solo killed each other. How was that matchup, actually?
It was pretty much for me hard because usually Trundle in phase is like really good and it's like 1 versus 1 is as a tank matchup because he can actually sustain a lot from passive and ulti, like maximum HP is like still it. So it was pretty hard, but still for me, I even solo killed it, but what I feel was like not winning because I got help from Soraka ulti. It was really close, and then I just got a solo kill because I didn't use ulti. Like it was a lot of happens, but I think still it was like really fun to playing the game.
Oh, it was an awesome game to watch in that top lane and all around, so congrats on the win still. Moving forward, you guys have always said, or have been saying this season, things are looking better. Pobelter said it, other people have said the team feels like you're getting stronger. How has preparation changed in best of threes? Do you prepare any different now?
For now, it's like best of 3, so we are trying to just more adapt, and then what are they like strengths pick, so that's why we banned like Aurelia. So that makes us like, he's really famous that one trick, not one trick, but it's just playing Aurelia. So like we're just respecting enemy more. Like what are they prefer playing champion, and then we prepared a lot. We didn't respect enemy. At the same time, we're not getting like something overconfident from like winning. So I think that makes a lot difference between compared to last split.
And final question, Cloud9 and Apex next week. How are you going to prepare for those teams?
First of all, both of them is Korean, so it's gonna be really exciting for me because Apex Ray, he's like really has nice mechanics, and Impact, he has so much experience. Like, you know, it's gonna be a really exciting game for me as well. And then I'm gonna prepare really enough, and then we will prove that we're highest ELO in NA LCS.
Well, chicks dig ELO, so that's a great thing. Huni, thank you so much for the interview. We are going to go ahead and throw it over to the analyst desk to break down the rest of that game.
Thank you very much, Riv. TSM holding that highest ELO position in the North American LCS, but Immortals making a run for...
Not for long, maybe.
Yeah, making a run for it with performances like this, where, in all honesty, man, they put on a show against Team Liquid in both games. We already touched on game 1, but this one, no different. Huni on that Rumble looking rather slick, picking up some kills early in the game in some very close little skirmishes.
I think that's just like Huni. If he's not blinking red when he gets the kill, he doesn't think he's playing it right. Like, even game 1, like that Soraka last second here, you know, getting what they said, 11 HP kills with Rumble, coming back into fights after he's getting dove. He's not afraid. If he trades the kill back, whatever, he wants that. He wants that gold.
Right, absolutely. And before we get to some of those clips where we will see that prowess on the Rumble, let's go ahead and look at the champion select real quick. Things that jump out here, of course, we're going to go without Olaf for Dardoch again, and it has been something that he's been rather successful on. They forego a Shen to kind of couple with it, but they do support it with Karma move speed and throw the Trundle in there to kind of try and add a second frontliner.
I actually kind of like this comp a little bit more than their game 1.
Okay.
They banned the Soraka, so they don't have to deal with that, and it looks like it should be, you know, a little bit better for them. I think the comp's fine. I think you saw the potential it has with the pickoffs, with the Bard, the Ashe, Olaf running in to get damage down, and you know, Karma kind of enabling a lot of the follow-up to that long-range engage. But the problem is, they just lose every early game skirmish, and once you're behind, they don't have an off switch, Team Liquid, and they just keep looking for plays, and Immortals just shuts it down.
Yeah, Kobe said it very well. It seems like all it takes is one tiny play, one minor victory for Immortals somewhere in the early game to really just catapult them through the mid game, and we get exactly that 9 minutes into the game. This is that 2-for-0 where Rumble, Huni is left with 11 HP at the end of it, but picking up 2 kills.
Yeah, I mean, he's really low under turret. He barely manages to clear the wave. TL's collapsing, thinking they can get this, but Immortals just on top of it. They're all collapsing as well. Pobelter gets a nice flash out there on a gravity field to stop the rest of TL from following up, and then the rest of it's just a chase down. This is where Huni's, you know, crazy. The rest, most people aren't going to come back in here. He comes like, whatever, melee range.
Yeah.
Not just shooting harpoons, getting melee range, getting autos in, gets both kills with that, and it's just, you know, these small margins that always seem to go in Immortals' favor versus Team Liquid, and then from there it's just kind of a slaughter.
And really, the only thing that served to do is create and diversify the threats on Immortals, because we saw later in the game, 19 minutes into the game, Liquid actually gets a decent engage off of an Ash Arrow onto Pobelter, a priority target. However, when there's enough gold on both your mid laner and your top lane Rumble, you can't rid yourself of both AoE threats.
I mean, yeah, you see the power of the engage here. They use the Bard ult to get Pobelter in a bad spot and then pick him with the Ash Arrow. He instantly gets blown up. Reignover follows, but then Huni just comes in here and just slaughters the whole rest of the team by himself, basically.
Right.
And then Eternal moves in for cleanup. Gets it pretty close here, but manages to get the double kill. And this is, you know, the kind of situation where if Team Liquid didn't lose those early game skirmishes quite so hard, even if they just picked up a kill or two in return, then that's maybe a fight that they can win. But it's not the case. Huni's massive. You kill, you know, Pobelter, who cares? Huni's going to clean up. So
yeah.
It's really just that case where they fall behind early and they just can't ever recover.
Huni's also going to grab player of the game. 7-0
Wow.
and 6 on Rumble. I know that caught you off guard that time around, but you know, again, the Proto Belt Rumble, very impressive. We saw
that
Baron. Don't have to replay that Baron where he Proto Belts in and basically 100 to zeros. Matt on the Bard. Wonderful showing by him on that champion, but again, so much of it comes from Immortals' ability to skirmish in the early game. The rotation up from Pobelter, the support from Reignover in that top lane to get him those couple kills, and then it's up to him, of course, to play it out, but they really do operate so well in those mini skirmishes that give them the advantages they need to then create these random 8K gold leads by, you know, 20 minutes.
They're just very aware of what's happening to other people on the map. So the mid laner knows what's happening top lane. I need to start moving up there, and he's able to get there to cover some of these problems and the fights that are happening. You know, so you see Pobelter on these roams consistently making it up, even though he didn't pick up a player of the game this series. He was pretty critical in a couple of these fights. So that's just kind of IMT's mortal strength. They're just always in the right place at the right time as a team. And
well, I was gonna say, and I think on the opposite side of it, right? You look at Team Liquid and you say, well, they had a good series against Apex yesterday, picking up that victory against another middle of the pack team, but their showings against these upper echelon of teams are just not that impressive, and particularly against Immortals, they didn't seem to have any answers. They were getting beat pretty much everywhere. Marginally.
Yeah, I think what it is just like Team Liquid is just a worse version of Immortals. Like they're very similar in style. You know, there's a little difference between Lorlo and Huni. And back when, you know, Team Liquid was using Piglet more, obviously they're a little bit more bot centric. But in terms of overall mentality and playstyle, they're both very aggressive, very fight heavy early game teams. And the thing is, you just run up against a better version of yourself. It's like that older brother who's just a little bit better than you at everything.
Right.
You can't beat him. And I think Team Liquid, for as terrible as they might have looked in like scorelines this series, they really didn't play too much worse than yesterday. Obviously, Matt was missing a lot of his Bard ults. That was a problem. But by that time, they were already pretty far behind. And I think it's just this stylistic mismatch where you put both of them up against each other. Team Liquid's going to look horrible most of the time.
Well, funnily enough, it's not a stylistic mismatch. It's a mirror.
Match,
it's a mirror, as you mentioned, but because one side is just slightly superior across the board in all the elements of their play style, they're obviously the ones who are going to come out looking significantly better because like, oh, they skirmish better, they rotate a little bit better, they CS better, right? There's no real win here for Team Liquid on the smaller levels of the game, on the minor levels of the game.
Unless Immortals is playing bad that day or Team Liquid has some of the best games of their life, like I don't think that this is a good matchup for them, for Team Liquid. And I think Immortals is happy to get this matchup because they can almost just sit back and wait for a Team Liquid to come in, just absorb the body shots and, you know, kind of retaliate.
Yeah, well, so of course, for Team Liquid, it might be tough to stomach that one, but hopefully they can kind of compartmentalize that and look at the other top tier teams that they've yet to go up against, and perhaps they're gonna have better matchups against the likes of CLG, Envy, maybe even TSM, right? Because at least in that regard, you do have the mismatches. That's where you have the stylistic mismatches that they can maybe take advantage of.
Yeah, for sure. I think like a team like Envy would be a much better opponent for them because they can kind of get their early game aggression off the ground and going, and then from there, try and get a snowball, but definitely not a great matchup.
Right.
They already lost to Envy once, but it was a little bit closer, so.
All right, well, that's going to close us out for NALCS 1. Immortals taking the 2-0 victory over Team Liquid over on NALCS 2, where we're about to send you